I just need to make an announcement that we are recording this meeting and it is now in process.
Okay, good. Well, with that being said, I'll do a quick synopsis. So it is recorded. The first thing I addressed is the paratransit service, Metrolift service will go unchanged. Go to the website, our Ddot website, and the information is indicated there. As far as service concerns, there's a misunderstanding on our service and the service concerns. We have taken, from a fixed route standpoint, the existing service that we can provide, given the capacity and the operators that we have. And we've right-sized the service in order for people to get to where they need to go with an accurate count. So the service changes are to avoid waiting an hour versus the rumor of, oh no, we're going to be waiting longer wait times. Let me give you an example. If you have one line and it has 5 scheduled stops, but we only have the capacity to have 3 of the scheduled stops taken care of, what we've done is we created that exact same line with the 3 stops with the capacity that we have, which guarantees that you will be able to get a bus at that time. If we keep it the way that it is, which is scheduled, but we don't have the capacity, in other words, you're putting out a schedule that we can't fulfill, a few things could happen. One, you could be waiting a long period of time, longer than the way we have it set up. And more importantly, because a lot of people are waiting, you get something called bus bunching, where buses are together and then it gets all mixed up. And then that's how you get 2-hour waits and so on and so forth. So we have right-sized the system to correct what the complaint is. So I just want to be clear on that. A lot of people are looking at it as, well, you're reducing service, but we're not necessarily reducing service from the standpoint of service that we can provide. It's either that or put out a schedule we can't fulfill. It's one or the other. There's no other option. I think this is the best thing as we go into the colder winter months. People can make a decision on their daily lives as to whether it fits or not, or whether they have to get out early or not, and we can provide the transit that's needed. In addition, we're just finishing up, but we have done a soft launch on the Ddot tracker. It's actually a tracking, you can go in the tracking app, and it's a tracking system that is linked directly to our new Clever device system that are on the buses to make it more accurate versus the transit app. This will have real time, you'll be able to see real time where the buses are located, and you'll be able to plan. So with these 2 elements, I think we're in a better position than we were before. So the next question is, how long will this last? Well, right now we're short about 90 operators. I think that if we can get to a point that we can get 20 to 30 additional operators, we'll be back in business and we'll be able to do another right sizing. Possibly, I mean, if a miracle happens, we could do it in January. If not, it'll be within the first quarter, but we need the capacity and the people to provide the transportation. Also, we're looking at incentives for operators to come on board. We're looking at everything that everyone else is looking at in the transit industry to try to do the right thing to get people on board. But you have to realize another thing when it comes to the financial situation. When you work really hard to create a bonus to bring people on board, the existing operators say, what about us? And it's a double entendre. On top of that, because we're a city agency, there are other jobs that are linked, that are union related, that will want the same thing, that aren't necessarily out in the field from a hazard standpoint, but want the same thing. So it's not as simple as just saying, take this money and give it to them. There's a plan that has to be put in place. And a lot of staff is looking at how we can do that. But we did recently do a attendance incentive for the operators until December. And we're going to continue to look at what we can do from that point forward. So we are working together with the unions. As far as I was thinking about this morning about the JARC, the new, I'm sorry, not JARC, about the New Freedom Service. It's supposed to end at the end of this year. I'm having staff do an analysis and take a look at where we are from a financial standpoint, because we did have a certain amount of money approved by City Council. It's anticipated that money would run out by the end of the year. If the answer is that it doesn't run out, I'm going to look at extending it to the point that the money does run out. So it is quite possible that it could be more months. We'll see. I don't have the answer to that yet. I have staff looking at that, but my intention would be to continue the service if we can afford it. The New Freedom funding is old funding that we just continue to have, and it makes sense to keep its old money, so why not spend it? The challenge is the New Freedom funding requires a 50% match, which requires money out of the general fund that we don't have. That is not ARPA money, that is general fund funds. And that's one of the challenges that we're dealing with. And I think I've covered just about everything else. I know that you all will probably have a discussion about the phone lines. I called Transdev corporate just now. They're working diligently. I guess apparently the phone lines are down at corporate, and there's a trickle down. Local staff has made phone calls to riders this morning. It's my understanding, and again, I'm sure if you go over that and you have the representative Don from Paratransit, they'll be able to go into more detail, but I just got off the phone with them. It's not a problem just here at Metrolift in Detroit. It's a problem with their central service in all their locations. So it's not just here. I'm working on a backup plan, which should already be in place, but I'm working on what the backup plan is from corporate, and they are going to answer me by the end of the day. So I can assure everybody that's concerned that I am on top of that also. I just got that this morning. And Don, I think that's it. Is there anything else you think I should touch on before I jump off? And again, I apologize, but I have to get on another city council meeting and put my jacket on.
No, I think you've addressed the issues that I sent to you, and I appreciate the additional comments about paratransit and what you're doing there. So I think that'd be it. So I know you have to leave, and I appreciate you being on this meeting today. And we'll look forward to further participation in our next meetings in 2022.
Yes, absolutely. And I just want to say that my goal is to attend every one of these meetings. And of course, it was my goal today until I got an emergency call by the city saying that I have to get on and represent State Fair, or else if it doesn't pass, then we don't have our $18 million State Fairgrounds transit center, which also includes a lot of comments from the ADA community about what was needed. And we put all of that stuff in. Everything that was mentioned, we put it in, we've listed it. So I need to make sure that I go over there and get this thing through for all of us. So I apologize again, but I have to leave. And thank you.
And if there's any questions that come up in the chat later, of course, we will forward those to you. So for your comments.
That'll be great, and I'll be checking my email. So if something comes up that's serious, I'll be checking it real time. Don't hesitate to send it to me during the middle of this meeting.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, and I appreciate you all.
Okay. Okay, before we get restarted into the main part of the meeting, I would just like to say that we're having some technical difficulty of getting people to the right position as panelists. We've got a couple people working on that, and that I will continue to run this meeting and go to the agenda. So before we well, let's get started. First of all, as I stated earlier, the chat will be closed until the public comment section of the meeting. There's a couple things I'd like to say with regards to the LAC. First, I'd like to welcome Tamara Prarin as our District 2 representative. This is her first meeting. She's no stranger to us, and we appreciate you coming back to the committee as a District 2 representative. Also, during this meeting, for everyone's edification, is that we're going to elect new officers for the LAC, and that will happen as part of our agenda. We'd also like to remind everybody that it's part of our Title VI, as a part of our Title VI plan, that it's important that the participants in this meeting, we encourage all participants to complete the Title VI Public Involvement Survey during or at the end of this meeting, which is a voluntary activity. Your feedback helps Ddot to comply with Title VI, which requires the collections of statistical data to assess Ddot's outreach efforts. And the Ddot Title VI coordinator will handle all this information, of course, confidentiality, with confidentiality. It's my hope that we have a good discussion of the issues that we have presented. So at this point, I would like to invite our chairperson, Ms. Yvonne Roundtree, to begin the meeting and open the meeting with her remarks. Ms. Roundtree.
Hello, how's everyone today?
Ms. Roundtree, you're not connected very well. We can barely hear you. Can you speak closer to the mic?
Can you hear me now?
Barely. We need to get
Can you hear me?
a little better.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Like I say, we have everybody having technical difficulties. My camera's not working right. I don't know what's happening over here. Anyway, I don't know what's working. I'm gonna turn this camera off. Maybe that'll. Let me see. Okay. Just my mic on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Ms. Roundtree. If you'd like, I can start the meeting, or is Sabrina here? Sabrina's not in.
Can
Okay.
everyone hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, I
Can-
got an interpreter. Can
you hear me now?
I can hear you, Ms. Roundtree.
Okay, good. I turned the camera off. The camera's not working right. Anyway, my remarks for today, let us go, each member report who they are.
Can you unmute? Okay, so LAC members, can you please unmute yourself and state that you're in attendance?
Hello, this is Faye Chenault Johnson from District 7.
Thank you. Please mute yourself. Tamara,
Hello, Tammy Black, District 4.
thank you.
James Jones, District 3.
Thank you.
Tamara Parent, District 2.
Thank you. Andre,
Okay, and Yvonne Roundtree, District 6. I would like for everyone to look at the minutes. Does everyone read the minutes? Did everyone read the minutes? The minutes was from May the 18th. That was our last meeting.
if LAC members can unmute themselves, please.
Did everyone read the minutes? Anyone
This is Faye Chenault Johnson, and I'm sorry, but I am unable to read the minutes because of my device.
So you didn't get to read it? Didn't you get the minutes before the meeting? She didn't get the minutes before the meeting?
Everyone's got a copy of the minutes.
Okay, all in favor of, I need someone to make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'd like to make, this is Tamara Perry, and make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Is there a second?
Second, James Jones, District 3.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? It has been moved in second, and no one is in opposed, so the meetings will be accepted. Okay, I don't really have a report. All I have to say is I have enjoyed so much being your president for so many years. But by our bylaws, I can no longer take this position. And I am so glad to the people who have been nominated for this position. And they are very good people and they will make very good officers. So I am going to say I am happy that they have taken this position. And I will still be on the board and I will still be very active. I'm not going anywhere. I just will not be the chairman anymore. But I'll be still active in this committee and making sure that we have the best that we can have. So thank you so very much. Now, Don, you can take over the administrative reports.
Thank you, Ms. Roundtree. Let me go down the list. Because of our technical difficulty, it's kind of hard for me to see folks. So Mary Ann Walsh, are you here? Do you have a report for us?
Mr. Lozen, I am here. I do not have a report.
Okay, thank you. Next on the list is Ms. Pittman.
Good morning, Mr. Lozen. No, I do not have a report today.
Okay, thank you. Next on the list is Zandra Wimberly. Okay. And since Sandra, I don't see Sandra. Chief Brown, are you in attendance? Okay. Okay, Chief's not there. I see Rich Zach, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. No report.
No report? Okay. Who, Andre? Okay. Andre Mallet? Okay. I see Lieutenant Ed Arnold. Do you have a report for us about transit police?
No report at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Steve Patrick next.
Oh, I'm mute. Okay, great. Well, Mr. Oglesby pretty much covered everything I was going to talk about, which was the service change and the bus tracker. So if you have any questions later on, you can always, I'll be here to discuss it with you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Granger, I believe I saw you.
Yes, good morning. No report.
No report, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna, Gina Schofield, are you there? Okay. Oh, she's, okay, Brian, are you there? Okay. Maggie Zhang, are you there? Do you have a report for us, Maggie?
Hello?
Hi, Maggie.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself.
Okay,
No, I have no report. Thank you.
okay. Okay, thank you. Simone Moore? Okay. Is there anyone from?
Sorry, good morning.
Okay.
Yes, just to reiterate what Director Oglesby was saying, I'm sorry, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so we unfortunately did experience phone outages across all of our locations, and our IT team diligently worked to get those phone lines restored. The corporate team is working on a contingency plan to prevent or to try to resolve issues like this in the future. Normally, one of our other call centers would be able to address the cause, but since the all locations were out, it really put us in a compromising position. Today, we are honoring, as we always do, same-day reservations. So anyone that was unable to schedule a reservation, please give our call center a call to schedule any reservation that you may have. There are some extended waits because the phone lines were down, but we ask that you pack your patience and we will be more than happy to accommodate that. Any ride that you don't need, of course, you can also call to let us know. But those are the reports we have.
Mr. Tiller, can you unmute yourself, please? Michelle. Oh, Mr. Tiller? Yeah. If you can unmute yourself. If not, we'll go on. Okay, Pam King?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, there you go.
There's nothing to report.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Pam King?
Hello, this is Pamela King, Regulatory Compliance Officer. Again, to reiterate what Director Oglesby stated, due to any route cancellations, Paratransit will not be affected in any way. Again, Paratransit will not be affected in any way. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pam. I have a report as the Regulatory Compliance Officer for the fixed line routes. I'd like to just say that we've had several complaints over the last 3 months or so regarding priority seats being tied up, and we've worked diligently with operations to try to resolve that. I did attend the Gilbert meeting, terminal meeting about a month ago, and today there's a meeting at Shoemaker. So all those procedural issues regarding ADA boarding and seating and all those mechanics, I think we've done a good job lately of addressing some of the concerns that have popped up. And I thank operations for their diligence and working with me to try to resolve that. I know we have some people in the community that have been very vocal about what's going on and been a good watchdog with regards to these issues. And I thank the community for bringing those issues through complaints and just through conversation so that we can make sure that ADA ridership has all the abilities to ride the fixed line buses as possible. That's about it. And I thank you, everyone on the administrative team, for coming to this meeting and for giving the reports that we did get today. So, Madam Chairman, that's the end of the reports, and we need to move on with the agenda. If you could take over, I'd appreciate it. Ms. Roundtree?
Okay. We have all business, new business. We do have the election of new officers, and the officers are president. There's Brian, and for vice is Mr. James, and Tamara is secretary. There's no one running against these people, no one running against them. So I'm asking the committee, anyone who objects to these people in these offices? I hear no objection, so they have the office. That was easy. The next thing we have to do is, Don, what is it called?
We need to discuss if needed, but to go to the 2022 Transit Accessibility Plan.
Yes. Has everyone read the accessibility plan, all the committee members?
If the LAC members, please could unmute yourself and respond to Ms. Roundtree's question.
District 3, James Jones, yes.
Uh-huh.
You want me to like both blocks on the ground?
Yeah.
Top and bottom?
Yeah.
District 2, Tamara Perry, yes.
Okay.
District 5, Sabrina Simmons, yes.
Are there questions?
District 4, Tammy Black, yes.
Does anyone have any questions?
This is Faye Chanel Johnson. And again, I'm sorry, I use Apple products and I'm not able to receive attachments.
Faye, I will, I wish I had known that earlier. I could have sent you something, but
Oh, I'm
after this meeting,
sorry.
yeah, if after the meeting, I will send you the documents so you can read them.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any questions? Anybody have any questions about the plan? Any objections to the plan?
No.
No.
Okay, so we need someone to make a motion to accept it.
James Jones, District 3, motion to accept.
Need a second?
Yes, Andre Bryant, District 1.
Okay, yes, been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, all right, it's been passed. Now it's public comment. Tamara, that's yours.
I'm sorry. Would you repeat?
Aren't you in charge of our public comment?
Well, I haven't been on the committee for a couple of years now, so I don't know who is handling that.
They have 2 minutes per person.
Okay, so I don't know who has submitted comments to anyone.
I don't either. Then how did they submit speak?
You'll have to ask Don.
Don, how did they submit the speak?
I'm sorry, I was on another matter. What's the question, please?
Public comment.
Go down. Asking time. How did they submit the speak?
How do they submit what? I'm sorry.
With comments.
Comments will be coming up. 1 second, please. We're going to open up the chat here in a second, and people can submit questions in the chat. And if not, if you could raise your hand, then we can have people, we'll admit people and have them ask the questions.
They have 2 minutes to speak.
Pardon?
Who's in charge of that?
One second, it's Pam King's supposed to be running the chat, please.
I am, I have no chat at this time. I do want to let everyone know Title VI survey is available in the chat. You can feel free when you have a moment to fill it out. At this time, there are no questions in the chat.
Okay, at this point, if people could raise their hands, we will open up the comments. And it looks like Marguerite has some comments. If Marguerite, could you write those comments down and we can address them? I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, Marguerite.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
I may have difficulty speaking, but I will let Tyler speak on my behalf. But if you do not understand, please let me know. There is some problems that I think that everybody should know.
Looks like Michelle's interpreting.
Should know what happened to me a month ago. Please respond to it down. I want everyone to know what happened in April and October 21st. At the bus stop.
Do you want me to address that, Marguerite?
Yeah.
Okay, what Marguerite was responding to is the fact that she had problems with buses coming close to the curb so she could appropriately board the bus. And I've been, she submitted a complaint about that. We did talk to the drivers and made it an issue at the Gilbert terminal because it had to deal with Dexter bus primarily. We know that there are issues on the Dexter bus with being able to come as close to the curbs that other routes don't have any problems because of the issues with the bike lanes. So we're trying to, and the drivers acknowledge that it is difficult to always perfectly come to the curb, but they're aware of the issue, and we'll just try to work with you as best we can to try to make it happen, because the drivers have a lot of problems too with coming to the curb for everybody. So it's an issue. It's an issue that we're going to keep looking at and monitoring, and we'll be working with Marguerite to make sure that her ability to board the bus safely is done. Okay. Mr. Tiller, did you want to say something? Okay, no. Okay, is that it, Marguerite? We'll go on to the next person.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Why, like, why was the transit police called?
Why wasn't the transit what?
Police called.
Why was the transit police called, not called?
Yes.
Why weren't they called? Is that what you asked?
Yes.
Well, I don't know what the criteria is exactly for calling the transit police for such matters. That sounds more like an issue of protocol and boarding that could be handled with operations and the drivers.
Yeah, but they were called on me.
They were called on you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, as I said, Marguerite, at this point, we will continue the conversation about appropriately boarding and pulling to the curb. And that's something that, like I said this afternoon, I'll be going to Shoemaker for their terminal meeting, and issues like this, I can address. So the idea is that everybody, all the drivers in the fleet will be aware of how important that is to people with disabilities, and you in particular, to be able to board the bus safely.
Because it should never happen.
I know that, and that's part of the, we have to keep working towards good resolution of problems, and we'll go forward and try to make sure that doesn't happen going forward. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay. Marguerite, we need to move on. If there's some other things that you want to discuss, can you put them in the chat box, and we'll try to get back to you. Okay.
Yeah, but
okay.
I like I might have to come back in because my computer is freezing up. So I might have to come back in.
Okay. All right. Okay, we're going to move on. I see Steve Hanshoe, you have your hand raised. Can you
Yes, yes. Can you hear me, Don?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's your question?
Oh, well, I have quite a few. First, I want to say that it is a very rare day when I agree with Michael Duggan. But the day before the election, Michael Duggan appeared on the Detroit Today program on WDET. And when asked what was his biggest regret as a mayor, his unequivocal and immediate answer was, I have not been able to make Ddot work properly for the citizens of Detroit. And frankly, I don't get it, folks. 99 years, Detroit has been running a bus system. It's a bus system. It's not rocket science. That's the first remark. The next remark, and everything I'm saying, I hope will be transmitted without editing to Mr. Oglesby. It's really hard to argue against a city council notice that you better be there or you're not getting millions of dollars to serve the riders. So I assume, I will give him the benefit of the doubt. I never met him before today, and I didn't meet him today because he's gone. I was just talked at by him today. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that that's really honest and it really happened, but I'm not going to give it to him twice because I'm really tired of the people who actually have some power to make some changes saying, here's what I'm going to tell you, but I'm too busy to listen to you. I'm tired of it. The next thing I want to address is the fraud that Mr. Oglesby tried to share with us today. I've heard this kind of political spin before, and he gets an A+ at political spin. I haven't seen any reason to believe that he gets a passing grade on managing a bus company. Because if you take service that is scheduled for a half an hour or for 20 minutes, and you reduce it so it's now scheduled for half an hour, that's a service cut. If I unspin what he really said was, we're admitting that we can't meet our own schedules and that in fact we've cut service by our own incompetence. And that's what it means. And who the hell does he think he's kidding? I'm very glad that Paratransit will not be suspended because they've cut out some fixed route service. I'm incredibly glad about that. I want to point out to you that Ddot needs to show the same kind of consideration to riders about how it enforces federal rules and regulations, which might have suggested that paratransit services would have to be cut in other areas. And now let's talk a little bit about what he had to say about bunching. Don Lozen will be well aware because he spent 3 or 4 days doing a yeoman's job of trying to answer a complaint that I had about being made to wait 2.5 hours for a bus on McNichols in 90-degree weather at a place at a bus stop with no shelter and no seating. And it happens, it's not Ddot's fault, but I had 80 pounds of backpack on my back while I was waiting. So that wasn't any fun for a 74-year-old guy. Bunching is not caused by the schedule. Bunching is caused by inadequate supervision of drivers and by driver error. And every now and again, traffic and railroad lines can contribute to bunching. But, you know, I know a fair amount about mass transit, and I know it because I have used it for all of my life. I have used it in New York, in Chicago, in DC, in Florida, in Baltimore. I've used it in a lot of cities. And I really want to say that I
Steve?
believe we need, I'm almost done, I'm wrapping up, Don.
Please
I
do.
believe that it is going to be necessary for the community to sit down with Mr. Oglesby in person and also to bring in the mayor's office. I want to conclude, to get these problems solved, I want to conclude with, it sounded like really good news about New Freedom, and Mr. Oglesby is new, so maybe he didn't get the message from what's left of the senior staff. But saying we'll keep it running as long as we have money, but we're not going to look for any new money.
Okay, Steve, we're
When
gonna
for
have to
2
stop.
years, for 2 years,
Steve?
please don't cut me off, Don. For 2 years, we have been telling everybody that it is necessary.
Okay. Sorry about that, Steve. If you can come back and put something in the chat, we'll be glad to take it. Mr. Pulowski, I see your hand is up. I'll ask you to unmute and make your comment.
Good morning, everyone. Robert Pulowski here. It's good to see the LAC after our last meeting. It's been a while since our last meeting. First thing I'd like to start off with is thank you for your service, Ms. Roundtree. Even though I haven't known you that long, it is a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for all the work you have done for this LAC. The second thing I'd like to start off with is the state fairgrounds. Ddot had a press conference on Friday regarding the proposal for the new state fair through the dairy cattle building. I was there for that press conference on Friday, and I'd just like to say one thing, and it's really comments today. This new transit center will help the ADA community, seniors, and anybody that has let's just say a roadblock. I'm going to keep it, short, but this will help out in the long run, and getting this new transit center will be the start to getting Detroit back on the road when it comes to rebuilding the city. Downtown was phase 1. The state fairgrounds is phase 2. And this is a perfect starting point. And with this new transit center, there are so many amenities to this that we'll be able to suit everybody's needs and serve our customers. So I'd just like to say thank you for everyone that's put their work into the state fair and how much time they've done going with this plan. And to all my fellow Detroiters, I will have your back. I will continue to fight for better for seniors and everybody that has, issues. But I will continue that fight, and I will continue my work and everybody else's work to make this city better and a better place. As a concerned citizen, I really just want to see, Ddot, very successful and be able to serve their customers. So thank you again for all the work you put into the state fair. But as always, thank you for the time and opportunity to speak.
Mr. Patrick, did you want to respond to some of the stuff?
Yes, about the reduction in scheduled service, about it not being necessary. The reason Mr. Oglesby was trying to say that, until last week when we were on the old schedule, we were putting out all the service we possibly could with the drivers we had, with the equipment we had, with the resources we had. And this week, under the new schedule, we're putting out all the service we possibly can with the drivers we have, with the equipment we have, with the resources we have. The difference is that we are, when you walk to the bus stop, you're not taking a chance that maybe it will or maybe it won't come. We're what he said is we're right sizing the schedule to the amount of resources, the amount of drivers, the amount of equipment that we have, so that the service comes out in a more consistent, more predictable way. And if we had just left the schedule as it was before, we would become, it would be like it was before, where you walk to the bus stop and the bus may show up or it may not show up. So what this accomplishes is it makes the service more consistent, more predictable. And as we get more resources, more operators, more equipment, that we will be able to increase the schedule, eventually to provide the service that the people of Detroit deserve. We admit that the service we have now is not what the people of this city deserve, but it is what we can provide at this time. And as a customer, we know that it's better to know that the bus will be there than to take a chance that maybe it will, maybe it won't. And about bunching, the problem was that when a bus did not show up, sometimes two buses in a row were not on the street, then the bus that finally does provide the service has to pick up a double load or a triple load of passengers, which makes it late, which causes the next bus to catch up, especially if it's a frequent route. And then that causes bunching. And then we have to let the buses proceed down the line bunched. And yes, the supervisors can break up the bunch, but we don't like to do that in the middle of the trip because we don't like to throw people off the bus or take people somewhere that they don't want to go. So yes, we can manage the bunching, but once the buses get bunched up in the middle of the trip because there are missing buses on the street, then we have a bunch. And it might take an hour or two, or maybe more, to break up that bunch.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. All right, let's get back. We have a hand up by Precious Daniel. If you could state your concern.
Hi, this is my first time joining. I just have one burning question. Seeing that the bipartisan infrastructure bill has passed, and it looks like the Build Back Better bill will pass too, that will be bringing money to transit here in Detroit. Has there been any type of plans on how to improve services? Pre-planning, as it will? Thank you.
Is there anyone on the administrative team that can address that statement or would like to address that statement? I think with the newness of that bill that just got passed, I would say that I'm sure that there's going to be some discussion as to what we can do with that money. But that's been something that's relatively new. And I don't know if we're at a point where we can discuss how that money's going to be there. Okay, moving on. I do see a LAC member that has their hand up, and that would be Sabrina. So if you could unmute yourself and make your comment.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My apologies for my tardiness. I do have a concern to address, or I just want to make just a blanket statement. The good news is that there was an app released for paratransit riders that would allow them to cancel their ride and check on the status of their ride. And so I'm really excited for all of those who can see and that are able to use that app. I'm disappointed for my blind brothers and sisters who use paratransit and have the challenge of using a screen reader on a phone or computer or whatever device, and they are not able to use the app. I do appreciate the fact that Simone Moore is her last name now, has been in contact with me to give me a status update that this particular application is under development, and that they are working on making it accessible to all. The disappointment comes when I think about being a second-class citizen and not being thought of prior to an app being developed for the general public, because I am just that. Not only am I a lifelong on and off citizen of the city of Detroit, I went to Detroit Public Schools. I am a business owner in the city of Detroit and recently purchased a home right here in the city of Detroit. So, but when something like this happens to me, it really feels like a smack in the face. And I'm devastated by it and angered by it. And it takes a lot to get Sabrina angry. And so I just want everybody to consider all things when it comes to the public. Who knew at 39 I would go blind, right? I may not even had the thought prior to 39, but I'm a member of the disabled community, but moreover, I am a tax-paying citizen of the city of Detroit, and I deserve better. Thank you.
Okay. That's all the comments I'm aware of. Thank you, Sabrina, for your comments. Pam King, is there anything in the chat that we need to address at this point?
Yes, for Marguerite, I have, she wants to know how we can go back and look at the recording at a later date, if any.
Pam, I can't hear you.
So Marguerite, I found out that it will be posted. So you will be able to find it in that way. On the LAC website. Mr. Spivey, if you like, I got your message. You can put it in the chat. Or you can ask a question now. We can release you now. Would you like that?
Okay, I'm not hearing Mr. Spivey. Or is there anything else, Pam?
No, I have nothing else. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Chairman, that's it for the public comment section of this agenda. Return it to you for, I guess, the item other and our next meeting and such. Ms. Roundtree? Ms. Roundtree, are you there?
To unmute her.
Are you there, Ms. Roundtree?
Okay,
Hello?
Okay. Ms. Roundtree?
yeah. Okay, I'm on, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now a little bit. That's it of the public comments. Is there anything else that needs to be discussed?
Do, no.
Ms. Roundtree, we're having a hard time hearing you. Okay, are you on camera? If you can turn your camera off and. If you can speak closer to the.
Yeah. Are there does anybody has anything else to say? If not, then we can, the next meeting is February the 15th.
Okay. Okay. I'm seeing, Ms. Roundtree, that Steve Hanshu has his hand up again, so we'll take his comment.
Okay.
All right, Steve. Steve? Yeah, I see that. Steve?
Okay, are you hearing me?
Yes, we are, so please make your
Good.
comment.
Okay, yeah, the first part of my comment is that there's 45 minutes left or 50 minutes left before this meeting is scheduled to adjourn. So given the lack of numbers of comments, there isn't any need to rush people through what they have to say. And so I want to conclude my earlier comments with simply saying that we have made it really clear to the mayor, the city council, and to the rest of the staff of Ddot that we are asking not only that you extend the service for as long as you happen to have money, that you can't figure out what else to do with it while services are being cut, that we want the program to be funded as an ongoing line item in the city budget. And we expect Ddot to stand up for us as an advocate for this position. You know, I was very critical of Ddot in everything I said today, and believe me, I'm biting my tongue. And I'm not as good at Sabrina as being polite when I'm angry, but I'm working on it. But look, the one thing Ddot has absolutely done right was the new Freedom Program. It is a program which, if Ddot would maintain it, would put Ddot on the map nationally for doing an innovative, creative, and necessary thing. It's the only thing you folks have done that's right. So please continue it. That concludes my comments. And again, thanks for the second opportunity.
Hey, thank you, Steve. Appreciate all that you have to say. I'm going to go to Mr. Spivey. He's had some difficulty. So I'm trying to, if you can unmute yourself, Mr. Spivey, and make your comment.
Yes, thanks a lot, Don. Really no comment at this point. I appreciate learning, hearing from the various constituents concerning some of the problems as well as some of the solutions that Ddot has been initiating to correct or to advance the transportation. Again, thanks for the opportunity. It's good seeing you, Tamara. Miss working with you. And thanks again for the opportunity. I wish I was able to initially voice comments and to be on video, but again, thanks for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Rick. Okay, Mr. Pulowski, you have another comment to make? If you could help unmute yourself.
Me again. So one thing I'd like to point out again with the fairgrounds is the elimination of the back and forth between the current fairgrounds and the Myers Gateway. It'll reduce travel time, and it also will give
Okay.
more
I
people.
just see it just popped up.
It also gives in. Sorry, you were speaking, Don, but
I'm
it
sorry.
also gives. No, you're good. You're good. It also brings in less travel time on 8 Mile. And the one thing I have with the 8 Mile bus is it always gets so crowded on there. It makes it tough for 88 passengers to get on and off the bus. And that's the second thing I'd like to bring up real fast. And this is the question. Could you look into the bigger travel times, let's just say during rush hour of, let's just say morning and afternoon, to when, like how many people get on the bus and how to address that problem and get the bigger buses on board when those big travel times are going and there's a lot of people on those routes. I'm very concerned. I was on 8 Mile Friday, and luckily I got one of the bigger buses to get on, but it still got packed very fast, and it made it tough for 88 passengers and seniors, and I did feel kind of bad for them, and I did want to mention this real fast, but it's sad, and I really would like to see if you could take a look into that. Sorry, I'm going back and forth between City Council and this meeting right now, so apologies if I'm stopping in between I'm speaking, but thank you again for the time and opportunity to speak.
Okay, thank you, Robert. Appreciate your comments as always. Is there anyone else that would like to say anything and respond to any of the statements that have been made in the last 5 minutes or so? If so, please raise your hand. Seeing none, Madam Chairperson, we can go back to the agenda and conclude it then. Ms. Roundtree? Ms. Roundtree, can you unmute yourself, please? Okay, please speak to close to your speaker, please.
Okay. I'd like to say that the next meeting is February the 15th next year. And I hope that everyone will have a wonderful holiday. Everyone will be safe and be able to come back in February with your new chairman, vice chair, and secretary. And I hope that we will have a new start. We will have new ideas of how to make it better. Would someone like to adjourn the meeting? Someone
Ms. Roundtree,
make a
before
motion to adjourn.
Ms. Roundtree, before we go, can we have our new leadership basically unmute themselves and introduce themselves so we know? And we'll start with Andre Bryant, who is our new chairperson. Andre, if you're able to, please unmute yourself. And
Yes, hello.
okay, you
Hello,
want to say
everyone.
something? You want to say
Yes.
something?
Yes, hello everyone, this is Andre Bryant. I'll be a new chairperson starting February 2022. And I'm looking forward to the new ideas that we can bring to the LSC to improve Ddot service.
Thank you, Andre, and look forward to working with you and look forward to good things and new things in 2022. James
Okay.
Jones, who will be our new vice chairperson. Can you unmute yourself?
Trying to unmute.
Yeah, you're good. I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm appreciate being elected and will assist any way I can to keep all operations going smoothly. Thank you.
All right, and Tamara, if you can unmute yourself. I'm not seeing you in the camera. I guess Tamara has stepped away. But Tamara will be our secretary, and she's no stranger to the committee, and we thank her for her service as the secretary to the LAC. Madam Chairman, that's it. So I'll turn it back to you again.
Don?
Yeah.
Yes. This is Ms. King. There's one more comment from Marguerite. And she said, my comment is that people with disabilities and the public need to know that we all have the right to be independent and not be negative and not negative comments on transit.
Okay. And I would just say in response to that, as Marguerite knows, that there is the ADA complaint process and that please use it. And I would be glad to assist the people. Okay, tomorrow I see you back. You're
Yes, I'm
introducing-
sorry.
we're-
I had an
we're-
emergency I had to take care of. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. We're just having the new leadership introduce themselves. So if you could introduce yourself to everybody so they know who you are.
Okay, I'm Tamara Perrin. I'm representing District 2 and resident of Detroit. I've been on the committee before when I was with Detroit Area Agency on Aging as the Elder Abuse Prevention Coordinator. So I'm glad to be back to serve and assist in whatever ways that I can.
Okay, and you'll be serving as our secretary on the LAC board. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, going back, any last comments? Madam Chairperson, I don't think we have any more comments at this point.
Okay. So will I someone make a motion to adjourn?
Yes,
I'd ask the-
yes, motion to adjourn.
Second. Will someone second?
Second, the motion to adjourn.
It has been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Have to mute yourself, people. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we will adjourn. I hope everybody has a happy holiday and be safe. Take care of each other. And I will see you next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.